As always, it helps this channel a lot if you can like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell. But other than that, let's just jump right into it. 4-cone square. The 4-cone square is another 5x5 yard box, and we're going to work this one all the way around. Starting at the first cone, we're going to sprint forward, shuffle around the cone, backpedal, and then shuffling through. Again, we're going to repeat this going both ways. If you want to get a variation on that drill, turn and sprint off that last cone. Just make sure you get equal work going both directions. X drill. Starting with a 5x5 yard box, we're going to sprint diagonally to the far cone, shuffle to the next cone, crossover to the other far cone, turning and sprinting through the middle. We're going to repeat this going the other direction, making sure we get equal work on both sides. The triangle drill. Starting out, we're going to sprint diagonally to the far cone, backpedal around the next cone, and then shuffle to the finish line. Starting at the same point, we're going to repeat on the other side. The L drill. The L drill is set up just like the triangle drill, so this is going to work great with all of our 5x5 box setups. Starting in a 3-point stance, we're going to fire out. Now you have to touch the cone with the same hand both times. The big thing we want to pay attention to is to get the entire 5 yards covered in 3 steps, both there and back. That helps us cover more ground with less steps, and you're able to cut off that inside foot. We want to do that on both the near cone and the far cone, even coming around that corner. We're cutting off the inside foot and covering that ground in the shortest time possible. The eye of pain. The eye of pain is going to use 5 cones set up in a straight line. The first cone is going to be 3 yards off the starting point, and then the next 3 cones are each 2 yards apart. We're going to backpedal to the first cone, make a sharp cut forwards, cutting off the same foot. Repeat this till you get all the way through it. We're going to repeat this drill, getting the same amount of work on the other leg. The Pro Agility, also known as the 5-10-5. We're going to set up 3 cones, each 5 yards apart from each other. We're going to start at the middle cone. If you're an athlete that ever touches the ground, like a football player, we're going to start in a 3-point stance. Pushing the direction you're going, you're going to go to that first cone that's 5 yards away, touching with your hand. You're then going to sprint 10 yards to the far cone, touching with your hand, and sprinting back through the middle cone. Starting at the same point, we're going to repeat on the other side. Staggered Shuttle. The Staggered Shuttle is just like the Pro Agility. We're just going to take one of those cones and we're going to walk it in 2 yards so that it's 3 yards off the center cone. So you're going to have one cone 3 yards off, the other cone 5 yards off. Starting at the center cone, we're going to go to the short cone first, touching, it's a quick turn, and go to the far cone, touch, sprint back to the middle. We want to make sure we get equal work going both directions. 1, 2, 3, back. 1, 2, 3 back is a reaction agility drill. Your coach or partner is going to have 1, 2, 3, or back as an option. As the athlete, the second you hear the name of that cone, react and sprint or backpedal to the cone that was just called out. Circle drill version 1. The circle drill has 3 variations. You're going to want 8 to 10 cones. We can get away with 8 cones, but 10 is ideal. Starting out with a 10-yard diameter, we're going to set up the 8 cones. Pick your starting cone. That's where we're going to start and finish version 1. To begin, we're going to sprint all the way around the cones. We're going to repeat this going both directions. Circle drill version 2. Version 2, we're going to cut this pie in half. Starting at that same cone, we're going to sprint halfway around the circle, cut, sprinting down the middle to the finish cone, which was where you started. We're going to repeat this drill going both directions. Circle drill version 3. Version 3, the circle drill, we're going to set up a cone 15 yards off that halfway point. Starting at the same cone, we're going to sprint halfway around the circle, sprinting off the edge to that cone. We're going to repeat this going both directions. Cone Alley version 1. We're going to have 2 rows of cones. We're going to have 4 on one row, 3 on the other for a total of 7. Each of them are going to have a 4-yard separation. Starting at the first cone, we're going to sprint to the second, backpedal around the third. We're going to repeat this pattern all the way down the alley. Cone Alley version 2. Version 2 of Cone Alley is very similar to version 1. The only difference is instead of a back pedal, we're going to turn our shoulders, crossover, sprint back around the next cone. So starting at the first cone, sprint to the second cone, turn your hips and shoulders on a crossover run around that back cone. We're going to repeat this going both directions, getting equal work on both sides. Cone Alley version 3. Version 3 of Cone Alley has a slightly different setup as we want to open up some space to have a shuffle zone. Starting at the first cone, you're going to sprint forward, shuffle, crossover around that back cone, repeat until you finish the drill. As always, we want to repeat going both ways. Run, shuffle, run. Run, shuffle, run has 4 cones set up in a line. The middle cones are 4 yards apart with the outsides, each 5 yards apart. The middle cones that are 4 yards apart from each other will be the shuffle zone. Starting at the first cone, we're going to sprint forward, changing into a shuffle for 4 yards, back to a sprint, sprint, shuffle, sprint. So run, shuffle, run. Run, shuffle, shuffle, run. Run, shuffle, shuffle, run is an abbreviated version of run, shuffle, run. We're just going to knock off that last cone. So all we need is 3 cones or 2 cones if you use the line as a starting point. The first cone is 5 yards away with the last cone 4 yards off that center cone. We're going to sprint forward 5 yards to that first cone, shuffle, shuffle back, sprint, and turn and run. So it's run, shuffle, shuffle, run. We're going to make sure we get equal work on both sides.
If you don't have cones, that's fine. I like to use red solo cups. They work just as good. You can get the entire training program done. Now, if you need full workouts, go to kingsportstraining.com. We have all the programs there. Speed Daily is free every week. But if you want more advanced things, we have the subscription available. As you all know, we're going to be doing a lot more development on this channel, so not just sports training drills. If you want to see more on the methodology and the sports training, visit Coach King's channel. I'll link it below. But he's going to go way more into taking the science of training and boiling it down to something simple that everyone can do. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that little bell so you don't miss notifications on when we have a new video.